Good morning, everyone. I am Raquel Cabusas, District in charge of Baroy District. I am going to present to you my study entitled Challenges and Coping Mechanisms of Teachers in Distance Learning Education. For the introduction of my study, COVID-19 global impact may be seen in a variety of areas, including health, the economy, and education. The distance learning modality has become one of the most common mediums of instruction for teaching professionals these days. A change in the learning modality could cause changes in job performance in the education sector. And according to Kill and Mutuedlo of 2012, defines job performance as the total expected value to the organization of the discrete behavioral episode that an individual carries over a standard period of time. For the review of related literature, the distance learning modality has greatly impacted the dynamics between students and teachers, and that is according to Soteya et al. Of 2020. The interaction that normal classroom education offers no longer exists in this modality. Thus, teachers are forced to find a way to make sure that their students still get good or even better instruction. According to a review of the literature on transitional teaching strategies during the COVID-19 pandemic, any approach to teaching and learning during a crisis should not be uniform, universal, or prescriptive. And that is according to Izzo, Lee, Wo, and Zhou of 2020, Morgan of 2020, Pace, Petit, and Barker of 2020. Rather, the corrective method should be evaluated in terms of how many resources are available, how supportive the culture is, and how equipped the system's players are to deal with the complexity. In emergency situations, the dominance of top-down policy making and prescriptive approaches to education may overlook the nature of more localized and context-specific needs and practices, as well as the idiosyncratic characteristics of actors in terms of their readiness and abilities to put new ideas into practice. For my research questions, I have 3. What are the needs and challenges of the teachers in the implementation of distance learning education through A. Modular instruction, B. Online instruction, C. Radio-based and television-based instruction? And second question is, what are the coping mechanisms of teachers to overcome challenges in implementing distance learning education? And of course, the third one, what intervention can be proposed based on the research findings? For my research methodology, so for the research design is phenomenological research. And then for my sampling procedure, that is purposive. I have 42 teachers who are participants of this study, both elementary and secondary in Baroy District. And then my questionnaire is through interview, and then for data analysis, that is thematic analysis through Mustaka's method. For the results and discussion, for research question number 1, what are the needs and challenges of the teachers in the implementation of distance learning education through modular instruction? So I think this one into 3. First is theme 1 is difficulty to transfer quality learning, and then theme 2, lack of resources, and then theme 3, students' difficulty in following instruction. For theme 1, difficulty to transfer quality learning. So our teachers struggled to transfer quality learning because of a variety of factors. And it was discovered that teachers have difficulty validating their students' performance. According to one participant, he said, I cannot keep track and evaluate the students' actual progress because technically I can't meet them. These days, it's critical to focus on student assessment and engagement, and that is according to Calip et al. Of 2021. Validating students' output and performance is difficult with the way education is currently being delivered. According to Anzaldo of 2021, also asserted that not all students complete their modules with dedication and that without lecturers and fellow students to prompt them. Students are more likely to get distracted, forget due dates. In particular, because there were no in-person lectures, they were simply using the modules on their own, like Pintang et al. Of 2020. Autonomous module workers do not entirely ensure high-quality learning. The study also revealed another issue. The modules are being answered by parents because the teachers recognize the writing. In fact, one participant said, "It is apparent that the outputs submitted were not from the students, but the product of the parents based on the penmanship." What's funny is that when we ask them who answered their children's modules, they always deny it. According to Anzaldo of 2021, backs up the idea that parents pamper their children and complete their tasks for them in modular learning. A parent's main job is to connect with and guide the child, but it's scary when they go above and beyond its role. Moreover, teachers were met another challenges like late submission and missing lacking interest of the learner's module. This can be because of the extensive assignments provided in its module. Similar to this, Olivo's research of 2021 found that parents believed modular distance learning was usually implemented well with the exemption of the learning activities, which they felt were too numerous to finish in the allocated time. According to Dangle and Sumaong of 2020, one of the primary issues that arose during the deployment of modular distance learning was the abundance of activities in its module. Therefore, it appears likely that this is one of the causes for why some students didn't complete their responses on time or even turn them in late. For Theme 2, Lack of Resources. The research found that teachers face difficulties in the implementation of modular instruction due to a shortage of resources. One participant said, "During the first year of implementation of modular instruction, I don't have enough ink, bond papers, or even printers to produce the module." Printing supplies are crucial in enabling teachers to print modules. In these challenging times, however, these are scarcely available to teachers. As a result, teachers use their personal funds to buy supplies for their classes. One participant complained, "There are times that we spend money from our pocket in the printing of modules." These findings supported the study of Granthorne of 2020, which revealed that the Philippine teachers are mostly and adamantly stressed due to a lack of budget. The study revealed that teachers are in distress, looking for ways to ensure that their local governments given account would meet all their students' needs. Moreover, when modules weren't posted on time, it was another problem for the teachers. The teachers rely on downloaded modules from the local level. One participant also mentioned that good for now because the modules are almost complete. But when everything started, we were burdened where to get the modules. According to Anzaldo of 2021, stressed that they might be able to produce the module more quickly to help teachers finish their weekly home learning plans. When uploads are delayed, teachers must develop their own educational activities for their students, increasing the workload on the teachers. In addition to these issues, teachers express their disappointment when students fail to timely claim their modules. For theme 3, and that is students' difficulty in following instructions. The students' difficulties understanding the instructions in the modules pose an issue for the teachers. In fact, one participant mentioned, "Our students cannot understand on what to do with the activities in the modules." One reason for this is that they are heavily reliant on teachers when they are required to do tasks. This was also seen in Alvarez of 2021, where students were perplexed by the directions provided in their modules. This can be the result of the students' poor reading comprehension skills. The students' progress will be hampered by the difficulties of reading comprehension regardless of the teacher's method of instruction, and that is ABAS of 2021. Since the printed courses require reading, teachers should think about how to improve their students' ability to understand what they read. Another results and discussion for research question number 1. What are the needs and challenges of teachers in the implementation of distance learning education through online learning? And there are 2 themes. For theme 1, and that is difficulty in the conduct of teaching learning process. And theme 2, lack of competency and direction in the use of technology and software. For theme 1, although conceptually, online learning appears to be simple and there are implementation challenges. One of them is that during the learning process, teachers have little control over the students. They believe that online learning was the same as classroom instruction and that it involved a mechanism for determining a student's proficiency through a quiz or exercise. But the teacher had no control over the students. Therefore, they are unaware of students' actual accomplishments, whether they reflect their aptitude. It's because the teacher cannot tell if the students assisted by their parents, siblings, or other family members when they do an assignment, test, or exercise at home. One teacher said, "The students' work is actually quite difficult for me to verify if they are the ones doing it because I haven't actually seen them done, unlike in face-to-face classes." Similar findings were reported in the study conducted by Shinoy et al. Of 2020 that teachers had a lot of challenges to adapt technology for online teaching. The teachers also discussed the challenges of achieving the most essential learning competencies in the online learning process because not all students turned in their assignments on time. Students struggle to understand without the teacher's explanation, and occasionally students are unable to follow the online class due to data quota or slow internet connections. Participants' comments include, "Some of the students in my online class are so poor that when I call them to respond, I am unable to understand them. Since I lack the funds to cover their internet cost, I am unable to do anything about it." For theme 2, lack of competency and direction in the use of technology and software. Results also showed that teachers face difficulties in implementing online learning because they lack knowledge and guidance in using technology and software for online classes. There is a lack of direction and clarity among teachers who use open source software. and some schools have not adopted a standard method of assessment. Teachers were doing things as per the convenience without any specific direction. Actually, two participants spoke. I have been asked to evaluate the kids online, but there is no explanation or guidance provided as to how to do so. I was not informed of the online assessment platform to be used. The open source platform was tried by teachers who had no prior experience with online teaching platforms, so they lacked confidence. Although they had significant expertise in online teaching, they nonetheless utilized free sources due to the lockdown. One participant complained, "I don't know a lot about teaching online, yet the principal wanted me to do it. It is a struggle for me to use Zoom since when I first tried it, I had no idea how to interact with students or use its features. Really a serious struggle." Another results and discussion for research question number 1. What are the needs and challenges of the teachers in the implementation of distance learning education through radio-based and television-based instruction? So there are two themes. For theme 1, difficulty in downloading audio and video lessons. For theme 2, difficulty in the distribution of audio and video lessons. Teachers had a hard time downloading audio and video lessons since the Google Drives sent to them don't have enough video lessons that would cover all the most essential learning competencies. One participant said, "Actually, Google Drives were sent to us where we can download the video or audio lessons, but they weren't complete. It's so difficult for us since we are required to have them as supplementary materials for modular instruction." Moreover, teachers complained that the video and audio lessons were so heavy in terms of gigabytes, making it hard for them to be downloaded. Some teachers suggested to compress the video lesson files to make it easier for them to be downloaded. It was mentioned by a participant, according to her, it would take even hours to download a video lesson. "I guess it's just right to compress the file to reduce the gigabytes and make it easier for us to download." For theme 2, difficulty in the distribution of audio and video lessons. Teachers also noted that the distribution of audio and video lessons is really a struggle, since the learners or parents don't have the capacity to buy flash drives where teachers can upload the video lessons. Moreover, they could not resort to online storage since most learners didn't have internet at home. One participant said, "It's so difficult to give the video lessons as well as audio lessons to the learners since they don't have flash drives or hard drives where they can store it. I also don't have the money to provide them. That it's not as cheap as a bond paper." For the results and discussion for research question number 2, what are the coping mechanisms of teachers to overcome challenges in implementing distance learning education? There are 4 themes. For theme 1, using their own resources. For theme 2, devising effective strategies and methods to compensate for the challenges of distance learning education. Third, constant communication with learners. And fourth, consistent setting and following of schedule in the distribution and retrieval of learning materials. For theme 1, according to the teachers, in order to make up for the lack of resources, They use their own resources and money limited were one of the main issues. Thus, one participant commented, limited resources were one of the biggest issues. Therefore, to deal with it, I utilized my own money to make up for what was needed. Another educator echoed this sentiment, saying, when there is a lack of school supplies, I just willingly provide supplies using my own money and resources at home. When the school's internet connection is unstable, teachers who teach online leave for home, one participant mentioned. When my lesson is interrupted due to a bad internet connection, I frequently go home. It's fortunate that our home is not too far from the school. Teachers are compelled to develop instructional resources, particularly printed modules. Unfortunately, Tagupa of 2018 pointed out that teachers must deal with issues on their own or else their evaluation may suffer. Money is important, but not for teachers to spend personally, but for them to serve their students. For Theme 2, when a module is not available, teachers create activities that are in line with the most essential learning competences. Participants' comments include making simple activity sheets that are in line with the subject skills is necessary if modules are still unavailable. Another participant also said, I decreased the learning activities by assigning exercises that will just meet the skills. Though YouTube lessons, teachers participating in online learning were training themselves how to use online conferencing software. One teacher stated, I quickly search YouTube for solutions when I have questions about the program I'm using to deliver my online class. I am happy that YouTube provides so many instructional videos that I can watch. This demonstrates how resilient and creative Filipino educators are. According to Camelon et al. Of 2021, teachers should create their own module or activities, self-teach when necessary, and continue to use acceptable measures in order to meet the demands of the new normal education. According to Hodges et al. Of 2020, many instructors have been driven to create quick online learning solutions because of the current health crisis. Evidently, teachers find a way to subject themselves in every situation, going above and beyond what is asked and expected of them. For Theme 3, constant communication with learners. Teachers interact with students to address questions about their modules and to remind parents of their responsibilities. As one participant put it, upon module distribution, I handle giving instruction personally, and I follow up through chats. Another participant added, aside from written instruction, if I have a chance, I tell personally the instruction and find time to text or call them. Given that some students, including their parents, had no one to turn to for help, the modules are modular and self-paced, which made it difficult for them to complete their assignment. One participant stated, I engage parents through home visits and hold parent-teacher conferences to assist them in educating their children and give their academic performance top priority for a better future. One participant added, I encourage parents to avoid spoiling their children. Simply facilitate but not the one to answer the modules. If this new normal, parental guidance is necessary. Parental involvement is a powerful tool that teachers can use to ensure that their students are improving. According to Pascual of 2021, Teachers can assist parents by suggesting changes to child's daily routine that will encourage the development of their literacy. Parents can act as their children's guides, tutors, and mentors. According to Pintang of 2021, showed how attentive guidance, tutorials, and support may boost the performance of homeschooled students who work independently with their modules. For Theme 4, consistent setting and following of schedule in the distribution and retrieval of learning materials. When it came to establishing a schedule for the distribution and retrieval of instructional materials, the teachers were consistent. One participant said, "I remain consistent with the schedule. From time to time, I follow up through Messenger and other means to reach out my students." Another participant said, "I am continuously reminding my students of the schedule of distribution and retrieval of apprented modules." A participant furthered, "I set a time and date for the distribution and retrieval and add reminders to the distributed materials." The teachers continually remind the students to remain on schedule and set a good example for time management before the allotted time is over. As a result, there are less delays in both the distribution and retrieval of learning materials. For the results and discussion of research question number 3, what intervention can be proposed based on the research findings? The study revealed that the modalities implemented in the pandemic time had negatively affected the quality of education the learners receive. This has widened the gaps and contributed significantly to learners' learning loss for those particular school years. Based on the research findings, the researcher proposes an intervention program called Project 3Ms, Magbasa, Magsulat, at Magbilang, for the full implementation of face-to-face classes. In this intervention, it is imperative for schools to create a different schedule for the first few months of the school year with longer blocks for addressing missed learning standards and content that are prerequisites for future learning through reading, writing, and arithmetic activities. Learners whose learning has been greatly affected because of the pandemic shall be identified and be pulled out right after classes to do the magbasa, magsulat, at magbilang activities. For the conclusion of my study, the findings of the study found varying degrees of challenges that teachers experience in implementing different distance learning delivery modalities. By learning about the study's findings, teachers will be able to resolve issues relating to the ongoing change in education. The study revealed 3 emerging themes for the challenges teachers faced in modular instruction, such as difficulty to transfer quality learning, lack of resources, and students' difficulty in following instruction. Moreover, there are 2 emerging themes on how the teachers are challenged in online learning, such as difficulty in the conduct of teaching learning process and lack of competency and direction in the use of technology and software. For the radio-based and television-based instruction, it yielded 2 themes. First, difficulty in downloading audio and video lessons, as well as difficulty in the distribution of audio and video lessons. Moreover, teachers coped with these challenges through creativity, resilience, and selflessness. In this regard, the study yielded the following themes as teachers' coping mechanisms. First, using their own one's resources. Second, devising effective strategies and methods to compensate for the challenges of distance learning education. Third, constant communication with learners. And fourth, consistent setting and following of schedule in the distribution and retrieval of learning materials. Furthermore, the study proposes an intervention program called Project 3Ms, Magbasa, Magsulat, at Magbilang, for the full implementation of face-to-face classes. In this intervention, it is imperative for schools to create a different schedule for the first few months of the school year with longer blocks for addressing missed learning standards and content that are prerequisites for future learning through reading, writing, and arithmetic activities. For my recommendations, first, the government must provide assistance and funds for education. It's not just for the private schools, it's also for the public schools that lacked the resources to adequately support the teachers and students, such as those with limited internet connection or data plan and those without the modules, tools, and equipment required by the new educational system. Despite the pandemic, students and teachers will still be able to have an effective learning system allowed by support or fund. Second recommendation, school administrators and teachers must be more supportive and dedicated to teaching the students despite the difficulties in proximity and communication. In the context of learning, this will help build and keep positive relationships that encourage persistence, significance, and optimism. Third, parents and learners must participate actively with their teachers and the school. This could facilitate good communication, understanding, and establishment of a sense of liaison. Fourth, future researchers can use this data to support their future study, particularly in regards to the pandemic experiences of public school teachers. For the plans for dissemination and advocacy. For the purpose of dissemination, the researcher will present the findings of the research in LAC sessions, in service trainings, and research conferences and colloquiums. Moreover, the researcher will provide hardbound copies of the research to the office of the school principal and division office to inform them about the research, decision-making, and policy improvement. These are my references. My presentation, everyone. Thank you very much. Good day and God bless us all.